The global takeover of anime and manga is undeniable. With the Dragon Ball wave and the era-defining big three of the 2000s, there's been some new gen exceptions that you just have to tap into. Now, it's been hard to find a new manga to tap into since most are now ending, like Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, My Hero, and others, leaving a void. And that what's next feeling is real. Yo, it's Zashi. So in this series, Tapped In, I'm gonna try to tap you into what some of the most peak manga or anime you should check out. If you have that itch for some fresh new stories or your next waifu obsession, just get ready to tap in. Gachiakuta takes you to a grungy world where people are separated from the wealthy to the poor in what's called the sphere. The sphere is a dome-like structure that's divided by the very clean, wealthy, and noble, and the dirty, poor, and criminal tribesfolk. Now, it's important to note the cleanliness of the rich and the dirty poor as we see how they react to the tribesfolk within the first chapter, or in episode 1 if you watch the anime. The tribesfolk are descendants of criminals who were sent to the slums of the sphere, and those who commit serious crimes are then thrown down into what's called the pit, in which our main character Rudo, who's also a descendant of the tribesfolk, gets framed and thrown down to the pit. The pit is actually the Earth's surface turned into a landfill due to all the trash being thrown down from the sphere. Think WALL-E, but 10 times worse, with trash compounding, causing the environment to change, and creating creatures called trash beasts. And the humans living there have to adapt to the environment, forming groups like the Cleaners, whom we follow with our main character Rudo. The Cleaners, without spoiling too much, are essentially there to handle the trash beasts that cause harm to the areas using their powers and abilities called vital instruments. You should tap in not only because of the amazing artwork Urina Sensei will catch your attention, but also to immerse yourself in the strange world where the saying one man's trash is another man's treasure is actually real. And without saying too much, the story follows Rudo, a Spherite who was sent down the pit after a mysterious figure framed him for the murder of his father figure, Regto. Rudo's main goal is to come back to the sphere and find whoever framed him and get revenge on the people of the sphere and, quote, change the world. But since he's stuck once sent down the pit, Rudo is met with deadly trash beasts surrounding him that will eat humans on sight, but is saved by one of the badass Cleaners, Engine. As Rudo gets acclimated to the new environment and joins the Cleaners, after a few mishaps, things start to get interesting within the story, learning more about what givers and vital instruments are and the ground itself, as well as meeting other factions and characters. The Cleaners we meet are so uniquely designed. As Urina described them, when trying to create her characters, they always ended up as weirdos when trying to draw them like normal people. And it shows in the designs like Rudo, Engine, Rio, Zonka, and the others. And the way they look with her art style shows the unhinged expressions in each character, with how they dress and use their vital instruments. Like Rio, the best girl candidate, for example. When we first see her, her design is flexible, and with her vital instrument, the Ripper Scissors, she uses to fight with her feet. Very unconventional and very unhinged, but perfect for the setting of Gachiakuta. With the anime finally out, I feel it's the perfect time to tap in. Being animated by the legendary Studio Bones, which worked on classics like Full Metal Alchemist, My Hero, Mob Psycho, Soul Eater, and more. This was the only studio Urina Sensei wanted to adapt her series. As she describes, Bones being her favorite studio as they animated her favorite manga, Soul Eater, which is what got her into being a mangaka, and eventually ended up working with the creator of Soul Eater, ItsZashi Okubo, on Fire Force as an assistant, and becoming his legitimate successor to him out of his word when she went out to create Gachiakuta, her first serialized manga. This praise is not to be taken lightly, as Soul Eater and Fire Force have sold about 50 million volumes across both series and garnered loyal fans and popularity around both series, and it definitely shows what Yurina Sensei is living up, and I think she might live up to it with Gachiakuta. Taking such an interesting concept of mixing graffiti and manga and crafting a unique art style that blends so well with the story, making it her own. And speaking of graffiti, you have got to acknowledge the graffiti artist Hideyoshi Andu, whose background in graffiti art blends the grungy world and make it feel like its own. With the character Yurina creates, it flows so well together. Hideyoshi's art is based not on a direct work of art, but more of what the music he listened to growing up, which shaped his style a bit. From artists he listened to like Limp Bizkit and Slipknot.
What was there a type of music in particular that influenced it?
Limp Bizkit.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother.
黄金世代、あそこがすごく大好きだった。
Explaining that he was excited listening to them as you didn't know what to expect or come next from them, which definitely stands out in the background as you see plastered throughout the story in Gachiakuta. With the manga being about 150 chapters deep now, and the anime adaptation currently airing, it's the best time to tap into the trashiest manga out, Gachiakuta.